All right, all you Ineos lovers out there, Grenadier, Quartermaster, what is the best way to lift this thing? Everybody talks about problems with the Zeppa joint off the transfer case. Lots of solutions that aren't exactly adding up exactly the way we want them, meaning double card U-joints off the T case, combo of regular U-joint, Zeppa, blah, 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 blah. The best way to get the lift out of these things without messing with the factory geometry it was designed around and all that other fun stuff is portal axles. And we finally got them. So this gives you an idea of what it looks like on the factory rear axle and the factory front axle. What we've done is I've just went ahead and fit up one portal on one side, standard on the other side, on both these axles through here. So for those of you who don't know what a portal axle is, it's pretty easy with this display here. Your standard axle, which I'm going to point out right across here, here is my axle shaft, and it runs right across into the center of this wheel right here. Okay, there's my center line. So there's my clearance, there's my direct, my gear reduction is only done at that ring and pinion and then goes out to here. The problem with going to a bigger tire, needing more lift, all that other fun stuff, is really to be accurate, you need to get a gear reduction in there. So if I go up 5% on my tire size, to be proper, I should go 5% up down on my gearing to compensate for that. The problem is, currently there are no ring and pinions available for this, but I'm sure people are working on that. Even when that does become available, the issue that we run into, just say I go to around a 35-inch tire. So I go about 8% bigger on my tire. Everything's off 8%, my shift points, etc., all that fun stuff. When I go to the ring and pinion, say it's 8% lower to compensate for this, that's great, but I've got 8% larger diameter here. That is going to require 8% more torque and force to turn all the time. Therefore, I am increasing my load on that axle shaft when I gear this down here. So I've got more torque amplified to that axle, risk of breaking the U-joint, the axle shaft, all that other fun stuff. When you go to a portal axle, the gear reduction is in the unit out over here. And when I say out over here, out right here. So what's going on is this portal will be geared for the appropriate tire size. This is the larger portal. This is for almost a 37-inch tire. So it goes down to just under 13% reduction. So what's going on is with a 36.8-inch tire roughly, this axle and the whole truck has no idea that we're running a bigger tire because all the reduction work is done inside this assembly through here. So it takes the strain off my axle shaft, my U-joints, my ring and pinion, everything. The other beautiful thing is, as you can tell, I had a straight line going across here for the center of my wheel. Right here's our straight line that comes out there. And then this is a 4.7-inch portal. So here's my offset. So my power is coming in this way, up, and then back over. So the advantage of a portal axle isn't just clearance, which is a massive advantage, which most people are taking advantage of. The big advantage is the gear reduction being done right here in this massive assembly. This assembly is a 7075 billet aluminum housing. It's a triple gear design. We have our drive gear here, our counter gear here, our driven gear down over here. This being the triple gear design is a helical-cut design. So those gears are going to be at an angle. Gives us about 10 degrees, gives us 20% more engagement of that tooth by doing that helical. Theoretically, it should be quieter, but let's face it, you're not even going to hear it on the straight cut. Our other portal will be, instead of the 4.7-inch, it'll be the 3.5-inch portal. A little bit more work on the installation with that, and the design is a quad gear, so 2 counter gears, the driven gear, and the drive gear right up through there. Beautiful thing with this setup, like said, is you've got your reduction, you've got your clearance. I mean, if you guys think about this, 4.7 inches is the equivalent of, what is that, golly, a little under 10-inch bigger tire than stock. So imagine running a 42-inch tire. That's the clearance that I'm getting with this portal, although I'm going to be running it on a under 37-inch tire. So add another 1.5 inches. It's just massive. Like, it's unbelievable. Now, the big question everyone's going to ask is, what's our weight gain? We're gaining some weight, hands down, no doubt about it. And this guy, when you do a set of portals, I'm going to show you on the other, as soon as we're done here, this whole knuckle assembly is replaced. That's a nodular iron knuckle, This is top of the line, automotive industry, standard, good, solid stuff. So it's not just cast iron, it's a nodular iron. It's what it needs to be. We do a much beefier knuckle because we add some more force onto the lower portion through here. In fact, there's gonna be a support that comes off of the assembly here and is gonna get welded onto there. It's basically gonna be a truss, a pivoting truss right here where this steers on that. So that is going to just basically help us from, I don't think we're gonna bend the housing. I think what is gonna happen from our test is putting about 7 metric tons, we get a little bit more elongation through the beefed up knuckle and also the front portion of the Ineos housing than what we're really comfortable with. So we're gonna run that truss and that's gonna keep any potential failure going on from there. But like said, there's the center line of this guy and here's the center line of the axle itself. This is a vent through here. This being my custom setup through here, I am running central tire inflation on this guy. So the blue Quartermaster will have 37s with CTIS. My blue station wagon will have the 35s with central tire inflation. ABS sensors, all that stuff works out. Actually, if you look in the backside here, here's our ABS module, or not module, but our sensor that runs in through here, proper tooth count, all that adds up like it should. Again, significantly beefier on the knuckle itself. The weight gain, you're looking at about 60-ish pounds per corner all the way around. The rear, I'll go ahead and show you what actually, before I jump to the rear, let's go a little more detail on the front. Here is your front. This is your front hub and knuckle assembly. We go ahead and reuse your original rotors for the front. We can end up offering a bigger rotor and bigger brake, but right now it uses the factory front brakes, factory rear brakes, but we offer our own, we have to have our own disc for the rear. But here is your normal axle hub assembly through there. I can't remember weight. I think it's like 25 pounds, something like that roughly. But you'll see, this is the point that we're worried about adding extra strength to this. See how thin that is through there? Well, give me a second. Let me show you the big boy with the portal on it. So you can see here, way thicker through this section and through this lower section through here. So this versus this. I'll try to get them at about the same angle, but significantly more beef. So we do add a little bit of weight because of the nodular iron knuckle is beefier. And also you can see on the top of the knuckle, there's the top where our kingpin goes. Here's the top where our kingpin goes. So we have a little bit more meat going on there. Stout, bulletproof. Basically, you've got a full floating axle front and rear. The fronts are always a full floater. The rears are also a full floater. Axle shaft wise is, here's the factory OEM axle shaft. We're looking at a 35 millimeter diameter through here, 33 neck down, and then we're back at just about at 35 on the spline. This is the shaft that's gonna go in it. This is obviously the other side. Same exact dimensions through there, same material, same everything, except we did keep it a little larger all the way out, where this guy, no, it ends up staying about the same, but ours jumps out just a little bit bigger at the end. So, portal axles, do your research on them. Hands down the bomb, unbelievable. I have a set of, as far as portals go, the weight penalty you're gonna get is not as much of a penalty as you're thinking. Don't overthink it. It's, yes, you gotta think things through, but I have a set of portals on my old series G-Wagon, 460 G-Wagon. It is I wanna say a 4,800 pound car before I put the portals on it, and they're sitting around the same weight as what I'm dealing with here. And I'm running a set of heavy, heavy custom double beadlock steel wheels, heavy, heavy actual Humvee tires, the BFGs on that, just the heaviest wheel tire combo you could ever want. Well, I don't know if you want it, but that's what I ran. And the negative, I can't tell the difference. It's phenomenal. I've been running that thing for 13 years. It's a great setup. So I gained a lot more weight downstairs on that G-Wagon on a vehicle that weighs under 5,000 pounds, where the Ineos stock comes in at 6,000 or 6,300 if you have a Quartermaster with goodies on it. So the difference will be offset. You're not even gonna notice it whatsoever. And I'll do a full in-depth review and I'll have other people run it because I'm used to driving these things. So I need somebody with a little bit more sensitive touchers and booty. So, because I'm a little barbaric sometimes. But anyway, we're gonna go over to the rear portal In the rear portal, the good news is the portal housings assemblies are the same on all four corners. Well, front and rear, I should say. So we use the same setup, just minus the knuckle through here. There is a couple brackets that get welded on. In fact, I've got my hands on one here and another one down there, and then a bolt-on truss bracket through there. But it's essentially the same animal. You've got your standard axle running out through here, and then this guy, so you can see right through there, center, yada yada. The good news is the Ineos is already a full floater, which is pretty cool. It makes it difficult to do the portals. The smaller portals, these actually works great. In fact, a benefit with this larger portal design is on the axle tube itself, you have your stub shaft, I don't want to call it your shaft, but your stub tube from the full floating housing where you've got a bearing surface that rides on there and a lock nut. This is machined to actually slip fit directly over that. So it's utilizing all that to support, and then the weld-on brackets here are just more than anything secured on, less strength this way, more just pulling in there. When you do the install, basically this goes on your factory caliper mounts, which are these guys up here, bolt in, locate it, we put on the brackets, weld on those two brackets, good to go. If I ever wanted to remove this, I could absolutely unbolt it. You're never gonna remove it once you put it on, trust me, you're never gonna go back. But that gives you an idea. And then as far as axle weight goes, this factory rear axle is 307 pounds before. This one is 380 pounds, that's front to rear. And like I said, you're probably gonna gain about 60 pounds per portal. So it could be a touch more for the fronts because they're a little bit bigger. The rear, the reason they end up getting a little bit heavy is some of the meat that we put on through here, this weld-on deal. And again, for my particular setup, we've got the provisions for central tire inflation, so you're damn right I'm gonna take advantage of that. One important thing, standard Ineos bolt pattern. That was a tough one. We're looking at changing out to maybe a Toyota this or that or whatever 6-bolt to make it look the same. We stuck with the Ineos bolt pattern. And then as far as wheels, more things will become available, and we went ahead and developed our own wheel for it. But you still have the option of the Ineos wheels along with the Sprinter stuff. So factory bolt pattern is what we stuck with on this guy. Anyway, 4.7-inch portal will have just under a 13% reduction. The 3.5-inch portal, which I should have in another 2 to 4 weeks, hoping to be closer to 2 weeks, that will be an 8% reduction. The wheels for this bad boy are an 18-inch wheel. You have to have 18, otherwise you're gonna hit right there. The factory 18-inch wheels from Ineos, I guess they kind of suck, man. I put them on and they're inconsistent. It actually rubs at 2 spots, so that forging or casting is not as tight a tolerance as it should. The wheels that we're putting are an actual beadlock wheel with provisions for my central tire inflation. I'll have those on here very shortly, but this is the ticket, you guys. It leaves your Ineos completely stock as far as how it was designed to work. The suspension on these things is bulletproof. It just doesn't really like lifted. It's kind of like a G-Wagon. With the portals on here, you've got the lift, you've got the gear reduction, you've got everything you need and to make this thing just an absolute off-road monster. And I will say, my G-Wagon on portals absolutely destroys my Ineos. It's not even close in extreme stuff. Without the portals, my stock Ineos with 35s will eat the lunch of my G-Wagon. So that gives you an idea of how much of an improvement that's gonna give. As soon as these bad boys are on this guy right here, oh, it is gonna be business for real. So anyway, keep tuned. We have an incredibly badass shock that we've used on our other vehicles over the past few years that are gonna be designed for the portals with the standard ride height. And one last thing I'm gonna show you too, we are going to offer a mega beefed up control arm. Here's your factory control arm, not overly beefy. I've only bent one of them and it wasn't from impact, it was from a torque situation. This is gonna be for the portals. So that's 1/4 inch stout material through there. And it's got a drop down extra bit of clearance as well. That is just for the rear. If you're gonna be loaded as heavy as I am, and I will definitely be over max GVW, and I'll be wailing on this thing in the trails to see what I can fail. I don't want it to fail. I don't think it will fail, but I need to know that it's not going to when I need it. So we're gonna be working on a new control arm that is got a different bushing design to allow a little bit more articulation. I think Metal Cloak makes a great one. It's pretty darn stout. This is definitely gonna be significantly stouter and a little bit better clearance. So stay tuned for that. But if you can't wait, Metal Cloak makes good stuff. At least on their arms are definitely nice for this. So we've been waiting for a long time and it's finally here. There they are, and here they will be. Thanks for watching.